went black and there was a big it was massive noise, and I started screaming, and we heard people screaming, and then we just went for the back door.
Glasses flying, chairs flying, plaster coming down, people roaring. It's terrible, really.
Suddenly there was a terrific explosion. Glass shot across the road, cars veered nearly off the road. The whole of the rotunda building seemed to vibrate, the lights seemed to dim and then come up again. There were screams, that was the worst part of it, and people with blood running into the street, running up New Street, running towards us, wanting shelter. It was just a great, great scene of devastation. It was dreadful.
The debris seemed to shower the cab. The first instance was to stop the cab and run and see if I could help. But when I got there, the devastation and the bodies was absolutely terrible.
Well, can't explain it very much how upset I am, you know. So he was only married a short time, and he was looking forward to this baby because I lost two.
I understand that he wasn't really due home that soon.
Not till the weekend, no. No, he just dropped in for a drink.
Were he and his brother very close?
Very close, yes. They were always together. 27 years we've lived here.
And both Eugene and Desmond, I understand, were in fact born here?
Yes, they were both born here, yes. And my eldest son was born in Ireland, who's the only one.
And Desmond, I understand, was in fact married and very shortly would have been a father?
Yes, in 3 months, in March. She was expecting her first baby.
Yeah, everything went black. I was conscious, well, pretty well all the time, you know, semi-conscious anyway. Could hear what was going on, all the place come down, like, you know. I was calling out for Pam. I couldn't hear, all I could hear was just mumbling, as if people were in another room kind of thing, you know. All of a sudden the ceiling started coming down. It must have been plaster or something or other. And I tried to move, which I couldn't. And it started, you know, it was building up higher and higher. And I couldn't breathe. And I knew I couldn't get to Pam, you know. And I realised then that the bomb was probably a bomb that had gone off, kind of thing.
I remember the police officer coming into the room, and he got his notebook out, and I looked over his shoulder, and I saw Trevor Thrupp dead. So that was like realisation of what was happening. All of a sudden I became the man of the family, which was quite frightening, really. I just felt I had to step up to the plate. One of the main issues I had was the emotional side of it, in that I didn't really want to show any emotion because of Mum. So I was trying my very best to protect Mum and my sisters, and at the same time sort of struggling within myself. If I don't stand up for him and the family don't stand up for him, then nobody will. And I'm going to make sure he isn't forgotten, and if there's justice can be done, then I'm happy to support any campaign that could achieve that.
Come up as a news flash, and as soon as he said the mulberry bush, I went cold. I knew who'd have been in there. Although there was no mobiles and no phones in them days, you couldn't phone up and find out what went on. So I just sort of blocked it out, pretended it never happened, and just praying that it was hoping that it was nothing to do with, you know, my dad.
We made our way to the tavern in the town, and I bought 2 drinks, and about a minute later there was a big white flash, and all hell broke loose, quite frankly.
My hair was standing on end. It was caked in blood, and it wasn't all mine.
Oh, it was, you know, it was horrible. It was like a nightmare, I must admit.
What sort of injuries have you got?
Got a fractured cheekbone.
For years afterwards, you do have flashbacks. There are times when it's almost like you go through every minute of what you can remember of that night. And I've done that many a time in bed at night, can't sleep, and suddenly you start thinking about it.
I do understand the people who died around us, their families need to actually get those answers, because quite frankly the dead didn't get any justice, and it does need sorting out. But would I like some answers? Yes, I would, I think.
I don't think there'll be any convictions. We'll probably never know who did it, but you want to know that things were done correctly and all the things were done as they should have been done, and I don't know whether we'll get that answer or not.
The mulberry bush at the foot of Birmingham's Rotunda and the tavern in the town basement bar, where Maxine was, were blown to pieces. She was one of 6 children. Julie, the youngest, was only 11 when it happened, and has one small box of memories.
And there's a picture of Maxine. I think that's a fantastic picture of her because it really captures her. You know, look at her smile. And she made that dress herself. Bless her.
Alongside the memories, there is also a suggestion of how her sister died.
And then I come across this. She used to love her bangles, Maxine. She wore lots and lots of bangles. And these were her rings. And I'm not sure, but I think that this is what she was wearing on the night she was killed, because it's all bent and damaged. And it's all burnt.
Starting the campaign has exposed them to harrowing details they were never told as children. Julie thinks it's time they were told everything.
We don't care how many boxes we have to open, but whatever it takes, we will do it. Because somebody has got to fight for these people who aren't here to fight for themselves.
The phone rang and it was this lad saying, "Oh, you're at home, you're at home." So I said, "Yeah, what's the matter?" He said, "Is Jane with you?" So I said, "No, she's at the tavern." And he went, "Just some bombs have gone off in town." We sat, I think, in the car on the Coventry Road waiting to see if she'd walk out of town, in whatever state. And of course then she never came out. So when we went home, and I sort of knew, I think I knew then, that she was never going to come out.
Basically, I was trying to get out of there. My balance had gone because my eardrums had been burst. All my hair had been burned off. I'd got shrapnel under my armpits and through my knee. I'd got big bags of fluid where the blast had hit my hand, on my left hand.